Passing Energy with your host Priest. With your host Priest. When this smoke start yapping, that's it. And that's it. Prepare to be enlightened and entertained. And that's it. Hey guys, Priest here, and welcome to another episode of Passing Energy. Oh, I saw the smoke signal, guys. The smoke signal came up. Bahamian TikTok is in a frenzy, and I got on my little mini scooter and I zoomed over to see what the hell is going on. Boy, y'all keep me entertained. I must say, y'all keep me entertained. Whew. Anyway, so what happened, right? Every and their mother been stitching, including me. This young lady who is a Texan native who came to the capital, the city of Atlantis.
We are explorers from the surface world. We come in peace.
Welcome to the city of Atlantis.
In the Bahamas to celebrate her daughter's birthday. And she shared her grievance with the Atlanteans. She shared her grievance with the Atlanteans, how we treated her and whatnot. Nah, you can't make this up. Y'all listen to what she say.
Okay, y'all, the story we've all been waiting for. I'm about to tell y'all why I would never go back to the Bahamas. I went through a travel agent and I had used her a few years ago when I went to Jamaica, and she was fantastic. I picked the Bahamas, specifically Atlantis, because it was kid friendly and they had like a toddler water park. First of all, when we got to the airport, they told us that our flight was canceled, and then they said that it was delayed. And then they told us when we arrived in Miami, we would have to catch 2 trains and then a shuttle to Fort Lauderdale and then fly to the Bahamas. So that was a lot. Well, anyways, we arrived. Because our plane was delayed, we almost missed our transportation from the hotel, which was included, so we weren't happy about that. But they finally got us on. We get to the hotel to check in, and the receptionist says, "I need your card to put $750 down." I said, "For what? Everything's already paid for." And she said, "Yeah, but we put a $750 hold on cards because that's what we predict you're going to spend here at the resort." I was pissed because I had no knowledge of this at all. And how are you going to tell me how I'm going to spend my money? Like, homegirl was not trying to give us our room keys, just for us to find out that the toddler water park was closed for renovations anyways, and they didn't put that on their website at all. Also, the lazy river was closed. The food was overly expensive. They purposely shut down the smaller restaurants at like 1:30 p.m. and for you to get drinks as well, which forced you to eat at places like Nobu or order room service, which was also super expensive. Like 3 pizza slices and 3 canned drinks was $60.
Well, as soon as I heard that, wow, never come back to Bahamas, I thought she had something with substance. You know, one thing on me, guys, if you following me, hey, make sure to subscribe to YouTube, like, share, comment, also Instagram, TikTok, you know the drill. One thing about me, I'm an equal opportunist person. My guns point at everyone, so anyone can get it. Anyone get it. I put right where right is and wrong where wrong is. So is she a legitimate issue with the Bahamas? Oh, I have been right there. I said, "Ma'am, let's go down our list." So I went down in my little vault, put in the code, and pull out all the scrolls of things which wrong with my country that I love, but we're not perfect like any other country. I said, "Okay, man, let's compare notes. Okay, let's do this. Okay." I said, "You go first." "Yeah, my flight was delayed because of bad weather." Okay, that's not on my list, but go ahead. The lazy river was closed." Okay, I didn't know the Bahamas controlled that. Okay, what else you have, ma'am? Dolphin encounters cost a lot of money. They put a $750 hold on my card. I said, okay, ma'am, what's going on? You losing me, man. You losing me. What's going on? The food was overly. I said, "Oh God, man." Ugh. I rolled my scroll back up. How dare you make me feel like you actually had a solid complaint? I shoved my scroll right back in the vault and closed the door. I said, "Mom, really? The Bahamas have a treasure trove of issues, and you name not one." I'm like, what the hell? Passing Energy is sponsored by The Graphic Shop, an online design and print store. If you need graphic design and don't want to break the bank, why don't you book them at the convenience of your home or office? You can reach them at The Graphic Shack 242 on all their social platforms. The Graphic Shack 242. Peace. The title was so misleading. How could you say why you never go back to the Bahamas when last time I checked, the Bahamas is not Paradise Island, and not even Paradise Island, because Paradise Island have multiple hotels. The Bahamas is not Atlantis. Like, I was lost. What are you talking about? Your whole experience was not even the Bahamas. And for some weird reason, this is an American thing. No offense to my American listeners, no offense. But for some weird reason, the Americans who don't not know anything beyond themselves, y'all believe if y'all come down to Nassau, she wasn't even on Nassau. The only part of Nassau she went was when she came from the airport and straight over PI. Y'all believe if y'all come to Nassau, y'all been to the Bahamas. No, you've been to one of the islands in the Bahamas. Nassau, guys? Hello, let me give you a little bootleg geography. Nassau is our capital, but we have 700 islands and keys. Okay, you did not been to the Bahamas. Do not beat everyone with a lantern stick. I'm like, come on, man, you can't do that. You're too intelligent to think that you're gonna beat a whole country over experience you have with a private company. The Bahamas don't own Atlantis. The only thing behemoth about Atlantis is the workers who work there, the employees. That's it. If you had a problem with Atlantis, the locals, we could help you create a cane, a paddle. We could give you something to help you beat Atlantis. But don't beat us with Atlantis stick. No, that's what you ain't gonna do. For you to say, oh, when you come to a resort, you put stay in a resort. No, stupid. I had to call it that. I'm sorry. No, ma'am. You come all the way to a whole different country just to stay on a hotel? What's the experience? How are you going to experience the local? Because people saying, why you didn't just leave the premises? She's like, oh, I heard that the locals, my head is garbage.
Okay, I had to do a part 2 of why I would never go back to the Bahamas. Try to answer some of the questions that I remember from the comments. Starting with the flight situation. We live in Texas, so we had to fly Texas, Miami, Bahamas. Something was going on with the Miami flight. Weather was bad in Texas, so they had some cancellations and delays. So from Texas, we still made it to Miami, but we had to take 2 trains and a shuttle bus to get to the Fort Lauderdale airport. So with all the delays, we ended up getting there like 8 hours late. My daughter did great on the plane and everything else. We travel all the time. We were just trying to make it there because the next day was her birthday. That was our whole point in going to the Bahamas anyways. So yes, when we get there and had been traveling over 16 hours and they hit you with a, let me get your card for $750 and we're not gonna give you the room keys that you already paid for, yes, you're gonna be mad. And no, my agent was not aware of that at all. They were also lying about the water parks and everything being open when they were closed. Spoke to multiple people who said the same thing. They said they would never go back to the Bahamas either. Okay, a lot of y'all are like, oh, if you're broke, just say that. Listen, if you're paying $18 for a single hot dog, as we say in the South, bless your heart. Just based on how rude they were alone, even before we got to Atlantis, I would never go back. For a country that heavily relies on tourism to make their money, I think they should definitely do better. They treat people really bad. They were even calling people poor. Again, everything that's advertised is not true. It's a very beautiful country, but I'm very disappointed. And a lot of y'all say, oh, go outside the resort. I just feel like you go to resorts to stay at the resorts. Like, that's the purpose of a resort. I had so many comments, though, saying they left the resort. It was just as expensive. And someone else said that group of locals hit them with rocks really bad. And having a toddler with me, I wouldn't feel comfortable going outside of the premises. The dolphin experience was advertised $150 online. I ended up paying $400 for 15 minutes with a huge group of people. In was not advertised.
Like, really? We throw rocks? Ma'am, really? Oh, sorry. That was part of the tradition where the young youths of the Bahamas, of Nassau, we gather our nice shaped rocks, shaped like marbles, and we poke y'all with it. That's a celebration. You know how they throw rice out to the weddings? So, you know, that's how we christen you. We get our ignorant ASS, pull a bunch of rock and poke. Like we say in the Bahamas, when you say throw, we say poke. We poke y'all suckers to show how we appreciate y'all coming and spending y'all money in the Bahamas. That is most ignorant. Ma'am, you came off a beautiful airport and you will see how technically advanced. We're not advanced as the United States. We're getting there one day. You can see how technically advanced compared to the rest of the Caribbean islands. We'll be in the Amazon jungle. We in some tribe in Africa. Well, we are from a tribe of Africa. Shout out to my African people. Like, really, ma'am? What do you think this is? You passed all these sophisticated places to get to PI, and for you to share this nonsense about pork and rock, you sound stupid. For a black woman to say all this? Really? You sound like one of those Karens. And the thing that was amazed me, right, is how some Americans, and I used to tell my cousins them all the time, my cousins who are Americans. I always tell them all the time, it's amazing how people from your countries come over and act like they're from this perfect wonderland. Last time I checked, y'all have police brutality.
George Floyd is in the driver's seat. A police car pulls up in front of this local convenience store and 2 officers walk in. Minneapolis police said in a statement their officers responded to a report of a forgery in progress, meaning someone was trying to use counterfeit money in a store. A few minutes later, the officers crossed the street and approached the vehicle. The police said they found the suspect in his car. The first officer approaches the driver while his partner walks around to the passenger side. 2 minutes later, a witness standing on Chicago Avenue captures part of the scene unfolding behind the squad car. One officer looks over as 3 of his colleagues restrain Floyd, who is lying face down on the ground in handcuffs. We don't know how Floyd ended up on the ground. One officer is pressing his knee into Floyd's neck, which we see clearly in this video, taken only seconds later by another witness standing in front of the grocery store. She captured the next 10 minutes of his deadly arrest, up until he is taken away in an ambulance.
Y'all have racism on a high level, even though the Bahamas are racism, low-key racism that a lot of Bahamas don't know about. Y'all have mass shooting in schools. Your state just had a huge shooting out that murdered a bunch of little kids. Your state. You're from Texas.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
Breaking news, a horrific scene in Texas. A gunman opens fire at an elementary school, killing 14 students and 1 teacher after he shot and killed his grandmother. Thank you for joining us. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm Ellen Leyva. You're watching Eyewitness News at 3 live on ABC 7, Hulu Live, and wherever you stream. And that breaking news, another mass shooting in the United States, this time at an elementary school in a small Texas town. 14 children are dead along with their teacher. Students seen running out of classrooms when the gunfire broke out. This school massacre happening in Uvalde, Texas. It's a small town of less than 20,000 people. It's about 80 miles west of San Antonio. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand is live in the newsroom with more on this breaking story. Jory.
Ellen, Colleen, this is another dark day for this nation. We are awaiting a press conference from authorities in Texas that could happen at any minute. But this happened in the small town of Uvalde, Texas. If you haven't heard that name before, it sadly will now be known the same way we now know the city Sandy Hook. An 18-year-old high school student from Uvalde entered Robb Elementary today with a handgun and possibly a rifle as well, and shot and killed those 14 students. This school was 2nd to 4th graders, so we're talking 6 to 10-year-old kids. The gunman also shot and killed a teacher, and the governor of Texas reporting that 2 law enforcement officers were also shot, though they survived. The shooter also apparently shot and killed his grandmother before heading to the school and carrying out this rampage. The shooter himself was shot and killed. We are still awaiting word whether it was law enforcement that did it or whether the shooter killed himself, but we are told that members of Customs and Border Patrol's elite tactical unit happened to be in the area. They raced to the school and responded to help. One of those officers was one of the 2 officers to be shot. But again, 14 students dead as well as a teacher.
For you to talk about porking, Mom, I'd rather get pork with a rock than get a rifle in my head. Like, Mom, what are you talking about? Safe? Like, really, Mom? Your country in war with a bunch of people. You ought to be fighting for your lives just to get the basic stuff because your party system all over the place. I mean, like most countries. But still, Mom, where do you live? For some weird reason, y'all believe your crime is so, this is America. The greatest place in the world, Mom, you should be scared to send your daughter to school. You should be scared to go to a mall. For you be scared of rocks? Mom, get from around y'all. You're talking foolishness. And for her to say a country that heavily relies on tourism They need to do better. So you acknowledge that this is the country's bread and butter, but you still trying to assassinate the country's income, which you can never do that. But I'm just trying to say, for dramatic purposes, you try to assassinate this country's income over grievances you help with Atlantis. And then another thing, if you did your research, I don't care how good my travel agent is, because at the end of the day, the travel agent is trying to get your money. That's what the travel agent is trying to do. So of course she's gonna tell you all the good things. Oh, that's her job, is to sell. Ma'am, for your safety and your child, for you to bring your child in a foreign country you've never been, I would have did my research on Atlantis, on how the local people, the tourist hubs on the main island. I would have did all my research so my child could be safe and we could have a good time. You could have did an Airbnb, you could have did a day pass at Atlantis, using their water facility for slide or whatever. If you went to the main island, you would know that Bahamas, another major hotel, you would have known that they have a water park. She could have did that, got a day pass. But that's when you do your research, okay? Fish fry, all those things. I'm sorry, when you get past us poking you with rocks, you could have gone to Fish Fry. The food is very reasonable at Fish Fry. That's a lie, saying that it's just as expensive as Atlantis. That is a huge lie. Guys, look at these reviews that she tried to use as her receipts.
You really thought you ate? Give me that fucking plate. You really thought you ate? Give me that fucking plate. You really thought you ate?
Now, ma'am, as long as you live on this earth, everyone gonna have an opinion, including me on this mic. Okay? Like I'm giving you a bad review right now. I remember when I went to buy me a ring light. Most of the reviews were positive. Some reviews said, oh, as soon as I open it up, it stopped working. They say, oh, it's the worst product ever. It's not bright, it's not doing it, it's not how they advertise it. Bought the ring light. Perfect. I had no problem with the ring light. What people do, they're disingenuous. It could have been something they did because they're frustrated and realize, well, I just bought this thing and it broke. I'm gonna leave them a bad review, which had nothing to do with them. One thing I could agree, like I said, I rant at her, my gun still pointing at the Bahamas. I agree with one thing she did say. But someone in the comments said that they treat black tourists different than a white tourist. Now y'all can throw your rocks at me. That's fine. I could take it. I could take it. I experienced multiple times how black Bahamians treat white people compared to their black counterparts. I've seen it to their fellow Bahamians, where I saw a girl have a stale attitude towards a black woman, but as soon as a white woman came in, her attitude changed. And we don't want to admit it. And I ain't gonna make this too long about that because that's another podcast. But we don't like to admit the fact that we still have issues from the slave trade. Just like America, but America issued the slave trade is different from us. Because white people are not common. We have white Bahamians, but they're not at our abundance. So we used to see in black people all the time. So when you see a white person, it's like this rare thing to see. So it's like, oh, we won't be delicate with them. I've seen it happen. So that is true. We gotta do better. Any Bahamians, please put in the comment section if y'all experienced that, because I've seen it. I worked along white people. I've been in spaces around white people, and I've seen how black people treat them way different. I've seen it. So if y'all could share your experience and let me know if I'm tripping or not, put it in the comment section. That's the only thing I agree with. Other than that, ma'am, you're talking garbage. When I scrolled to TikTok, I didn't know if I needed a Kleenex. I don't know if I needed some popcorn. I need to take notes because she's a motivational speaker. Everything was all over the place. She's a survivor. She's a single mom. She's a vlogger. I'm confused. Like, what am I watching? Guys, let me tell you something. When y'all come on my page, you already know what Priest's gonna talk about. I gonna report something. And I'm consistent. I give you my honest opinion. I give y'all nudes. That is my whole stick. Some might think it's ranting. That's just me talking. But I tell you, as soon as I turning off the camera or turning off the podcast, I'd be so chill laying down that, yeah, I did that. But yes, so you already know what you're going to get from me. But this lady, it all over the place. And I see through her. Anyone who always smiling, don't trust them. Don't trust them. Because they're trying their hardest to show you that they're a good person. Someone who is naturally a nice person, don't have to smile every 2 seconds. That is a disguise. What I've gotten, this passing energy. Energy. Ooh. The flow of energy, what you give to me and I give back to you and recycle back on the endless loop. Yeah, passing energy. What I've gotten from her, she's manipulative. She's intentionally sending out these messages. Look at some of these things. Look at this. Like, I don't take domestic violence as a joke. I'm glad she got out of the situation. But every other post she even talking about, I'm struggling, a single mom did this. I got beat, but I survived. It was so much. I'm like, ma'am, what am I looking at? And that's when I catch on. You cannot trick me.
You cannot trick me. You can't.
I know exactly what you are. You are an agent of chaos. You gain your power by destroying others. You need the people's sympathy because you're not interesting at all. Because you can't even use your own personality. You try to assassinate the Bahamas to gain all this likes and views and whatever. You're using your baby daddy, who, if he is a bad person, he'd be in jail. You're using him. You're using a single mama trope to get followers. You are just there to suck up people's energy, to feed your empty soul. Because someone who caring and loving would never did that what you did. The pain you inflict on other people, you inhale it like Ursula, when Ursula suck up the Little Mermaid voice. That's how you are when it comes to people's empathy towards you. You are always the victim. That soft, sweet voice. Man, please, that's an act. You are an agent of chaos and man, you need help. Anyway, you don't want to come back, man. We don't need you. You are who you are. You could carry your ASS in the Bahamas way to say carry your honey. You could do that, You don't have to come back. Thank you. Anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think, because I could do this forever. She made me mad. She's stupid. But I don't give this lady any more attention. We did our thing. We, him and TikTok, we did our thing. All right? Anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think about today's episode. Make sure you like, share, comment on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube or the podcast, whatever podcast streaming service you're listening on. Make sure you follow me on there to get the latest update. Also follow me on TikTok, Host Priest, and Instagram, Passing Energy, I believe. Anyway, guys, until next time, peace.